For you welders out there, you saw us use these purge cups. They come in some kits, and then the idea was to weld out here and purge the inside, which then makes it nice and smooth and pretty inside.
Where's your jacket, dude? Where is it? What are you carrying there? All right, guys. Good morning. Welcome back. My voice just instantly dropped out there. Anyway, it is bright. I can't see, but welcome back to another video. We are going to see what do you think? You think yay or nay? Everybody cast your vote. Will the second gen start? You're shaking your head. You just don't want to say it. You want to believe that it could do it? Here you go. I'll hop in there and try and see. I'm saying yes.
No way.
It has been extremely cold.
It's 6 degrees outside.
All day. All day. Come on, girl. Hey, can you make sure that doesn't fall? All right, guys, we have got the second gen pulled into the shop here. Today, we are gonna be working on some gauges. Now, should you have gauges in your truck? That is the question. The quick answer, oh boy, the light. Wow, it's really bright right there. Anyway, you should have gauges in your truck. You definitely should have gauges in your truck. So the second gen does not have gauges in there yet. We've got the spicy tune from our man TJ, and we need to monitor a couple things before we start really giving her all of the sauce. So we have got a set of power-driven diesel gauges right here that we're gonna be installing. We actually started this install last week, so we're kind of picking up where we left off when we were doing the custom tuning. So the sensors are actually already installed in the truck. If you guys can look down in here. Hey, can you, hey Vanna, can you grab a flashlight, please, baby? I mean, I love you. So what we've got is we've got 2 boost gauges. We're gonna be monitoring total boost, and we're gonna be monitoring interstage boost, which will tell us how hard or not hard this big turbo is working in the entire setup. So we have got boost gauge number 1 down in here in this pipe right here, because this will be blowing back into here. We have got our primary overall boost gauge installed in the back of the Banks intake horn. So 2 gauges for boost, and we also have EGT, which is a little hard to see because our manifold is flipped up, but our sensor is back down underneath here, underside the manifold. That's pretty much a common location, so you guys can know where that is. Our manifold is just flipped upside down. So we actually have two EGT gauges on this thing. We've got the Quadzilla gauge, and we're gonna have a power-driven diesel gauge. So that's 3 gauges. The fourth one over here, and again, this is kind of a double gauge, but the Quadzilla, seeing that it's on your phone, that's not always pulled up. These are gonna be manual gauges on the column that will stay, you know, working 24/7. We have got another fuel pressure gauge. So back about a foot from the pump, we have our sensor in there, and we've kind of got that teed in right into our main air dog line. So fuel pressure, 2 boosts, and EGT. We don't need a trans temp, obviously, because this is a manual truck. But here are the gauges, giving a quick look at them. They are super, super nice looking. Black face, black bezel. If you guys didn't know, Power Driven Diesel does obviously offer gauges. So we are going to be installing these today, wrapping these up, taking a look at them. Everything looks extremely, extremely nice. One of the nice things that I have to give them credit for is the instructions on these. A lot of gauge companies will kind of throw you to the wind with instructions. And also one thing that I really liked that it's kind of hard to see right now is all of the extra stuff that you need to install the gauges. Like the EGT probe came with a threaded weld-on bung. They give you basically everything, like complete that you're gonna need to mount these things. Like just the extra stuff, the extra fittings, the extra, like that thing right here, just in case you have a different thread size. So where we're at now is just the time-consuming part of running all of the wires nicely inside the cab, getting all of that set up. You know, a little bit of the struggle is getting the sensors mounted. So sensors are mounted. Yay. How's that 450? How's that 450 treating you, Mr. Michael?
I only got stuck twice on the way here.
Only what?
Yeah, once in my driveway and once in yours.
Man, those Fords, you know, just can't handle the driveways, you know. But anyway, guys, before we get started on the wiring, if you guys have not already heard me say it a million times, make sure you guys get entered in the PJ trailer giveaway. We are closing in on 2 weeks here, and that baby is going to be going to one of you guys. So make sure you guys head over to wrenchworks.com, grab those entries while stuff is still in stock, and yeah, let's get to wiring. Don't break the dash. Don't break the dash. Oh. Michael, we didn't break the dash. A little bit of time later, we are ready to install our gauge cluster. Michael has spent quite a bit of time here making this a little bit more streamlined with all of the harnesses. This is what it should look like. These are all of our sensors that need to go into the cab, but it's kind of hard to see, but all of these gauges are daisy chained into kind of a nice harness, and our power, ignition, and dimmer wire are all tied together nicely instead of, you know, sets and sets of wiring. So the only things we really have is, this is our factory speaker plug. We've got our EGT probe, our gauge power sources, and then our sensors, which there's 2 of them here, but those will go in through the engine. But the biggest time consuming thing is this autometer pod, which I didn't realize actually piggybacks off of the factory one. So we've spent quite a bit of time trimming this up. One of my biggest pet peeves, and you guys probably know in the second gen community here, when you have a gauge pillar pod and you can see your factory one behind it, I hate that. So we went ahead and spent a ton of time trimming this so you can't really see that when this goes in the truck. But we're at the point where this is going to get set in the truck, and we went ahead and put all of the other sensors, the probes through there. We're gonna grab our dimmer source from our headlight switch, and then second gen's kind of easy. You got this little fuse panel right here. We're gonna grab ignition and ground right from there. And we didn't break our dash bezel, which is a very huge positive thing. So we're gonna continue on with the installation. And last but not least, the most time-consuming part is to make sure that all of your wiring inside the engine bay doesn't look like a complete rat's nest. It does get cumbersome, so you just got to kind of do your best to run those. We'll show you guys what we end up with here at the end, but we are getting ready. We're actually gonna run 3 on the column, and then we're gonna put our fuel pressure, which is real important in VP trucks. We're gonna put that on a pod that, because of all the snow delays, has not come in yet. So what you'll see when you come in here is you'll see fuel pressure, then you'll have the boost gauges right next to each other, and then our EGT somewhere on the top or the bottom, but the boost gauges kind of need to be looked at simultaneously. There we go.
Success.
Woo! Man, lots of stuff back there. All right, my friends, we are wrapped up with the gauges. Want to go over all the details with you. Again, just spent way too much time underneath here trying to make things the prettiest as possible, trying to run the wires nicely, nothing sticking out sore in your eye. But again, got the boost gauge right here. We went ahead and got some high temp, like thermal wrap right here because it is close to the exhaust manifold. So this is actually meant for spark plug wires right on top of headers, so we should be good with that. So we've got the boost gauge and our probe wrapped in that, and then it kind of comes up here to the firewall. And again, we've got our Banks intake horn here with our overall boost pressure and the fuel pressure down there. Kind of snaked it all around in here, running into the cab. And we've got the cab pretty much wrapped up, except for our missing gauge pod. Like I said, we're still waiting on that to come in, but it is wired up, ready to go. And you can see we pulled our wires kind of right through there. That's the sneaky spot here in the second gens. Ran it up through the column. Column came out really, really nice. Like I said, if you look around up here, you look up top, you cannot see any of the other factory pillar, which is really what we were after. So everything looks good, OEM. You just want to make sure everything kind of looks as OEM as possible. So boom, 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 here we go. Hey. So we've been playing around with these gauges just a little bit here. You can see right here, we got our fuel pressure gauge working. 15 PSIs. We've got the lights. It's gonna be really hard to tell the lights because we're pretty much right in the middle of the daylight. It is super bright outside with all the sun. But the cool thing about these gauges is, and we haven't really completely messed with them, but right here we've got high and low settings that you can actually set within the gauges by holding them for certain lengths and distances and presses and stuff like that. So you can set highs and lows. Obviously you can turn the dimmer up and down. You can set the brightness for day and nighttime, and also you can do peak recall. So if you you're in Mexico, you do a hit and you want to see how much, well, maybe you don't want to see, right, Michael? Maybe you don't want to see what the peak recall is, but in case you're feeling frisky and you want to see how much EGTs are there, you can do that too. So a lot of cool functions with these gauges. Again, we're going to sit this bad boy like right here. That way you can monitor your VP fuel pressure all the time. Let's make sure everything's nice and happy. But overall, super pumped on these gauges. They look really, really good. They match really, really well with the factory all black cluster and everything else. So 2 thumbs up, and we're pretty much wrapped up. So if you guys, again, need gauges, go check out the power-driven diesel ones. The wiring was not bad at all. Anything else to add there, Sweetness?
A day that you don't hurt the dash putting gauges in is a good day.
Yeah, our dash is in one piece. Well, it kind of helps that I've already replaced all this stuff, so it's not the OE equipment here. So it's already been through. We've already been through our first broken one, but yeah, pretty much that's.
Tell them about your trimmed speaker.
Yeah, we, I mean, the most amount of time that we spent on these gauges had really nothing to do with the gauges. It was trimming the back panel here and trimming this tweeter mount to go around the gauge face right here really, really nicely. So gauges are really...
and the heat shrink.
And the heat shrink. Gauges, you could probably put in a couple hours, or you could spend a day or two doing it, you know, as nicely as possible. We tried to make sure all of our wires underneath here were nicely loomed up, except for right here. Obviously, we're still waiting on this pod, but everything is nicely to where if you have to take them off, resell them, or do whatever you want with them, it's not a rat's nest. That's the, I guess that's the best way to put it. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, let us know. But we will be out on the street testing these things out in no time as soon as the roads get cleared up. All right, I'm gonna stand right here because honestly, I cannot see anything. It is so bright out here. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much gonna wrap up the video doing the gauges on the second gen. Like I mentioned before, if you guys need gauges or I mean anything 12, 24 valve, I mean really anything for your truck, go check out the guys at Power Driven Diesel. The gauges, 2 thumbs up on those. They were working inside the cab. I could see my EGT getting up there. So anyway, that's gonna do it. Love you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe if you have not already. Make sure you guys get your entries in to win the PJ trailer. We are running out of time for you guys to get that stuff in. We did just restock some of the high vis and orange hats. So again, make sure you guys head over to wrenchworks.com, get those entries in to win the PJ. Your time's running out, and that is going to do it. I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.